Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the InboundREM YouTube channel. Today we've got a special. We're doing two for the price of one. The reason that I'm doing two videos today is I've had some questions on my more recent videos. One of them that I've referenced a couple different times is golden handcuffs. And I've been getting the question enough times on my social media channels about how do you escape like golden handcuffs? Like, is there a way? Can you do it? And the answer is, yeah, there is a way. I've got a customer right now that I'm going to use as a case study where one of Sierra's top customers, I will not mention which, is switching over to us. Okay. Now I'm going to tell everybody in advance, this isn't a perfect plan. It's just a plan in which they were able to move from a platform they don't own that got sold out from underneath them, and they're getting far reduced customer service. And they have an exit strategy that allows them to transfer all these years of work, all their posts, tens of thousands of pages over onto a new system. And instead of it costing them like hundreds of thousands of dollars, we're able to do it for about $10,000 all in. The first thing that is important is your cost is going to be directly equivalent to how big of a website you currently have. Like, how much work and effort have you put into a website? If you have a much lower, like if you have a standard website that you've spent $600 on and you just have a few things on it you'd like to transfer, you're not, I mean, hell, we'll probably transfer that for you for free. Okay, there's probably no charge. Okay, it is only when you have really big websites that you need a lot of stuff moved off of that you end up having a cost to doing that, to getting off like a platform you don't own onto WordPress, and a platform that you do control, that you do own, that you can sell, it can do all these things with. In very extreme circumstances, it makes all the sense in the world to make the investment, because you can make hundreds of thousands of dollars. If you look at the website that I just did about how to value your real estate website, you'll understand exactly what I'm talking about. All right, so first of all, you need a plan. There needs to be a strong conversation between you and the person that you are doing this work with about how much and what do you need moved and why do you need it moved. It needs to be a comprehensive plan. And usually as part of the planning, you're using, this is very advanced stuff. You're using tools like Screaming Frog or Ahrefs to do what's called crawl a website, find out where all the pages lie. Then you're looking at the internal metrics of the site and you're going, how many pages are really there? How many did my tracking stuff pick up? And then you create a spreadsheet, and it's a multi-step thing where you got to talk to the customer and go, this is what we think we're moving. Is this everything you wanted? Now, this is detail work. Many of you are not going to be interested in doing this. However, you would go through those spreadsheets and that list and make sure that all the pages based on URL are ones that you wanted to move. This requires a pretty engaged client. But like I said, in this particular case, we have one of the top Sierra clients moving over. And those clients, people who really pay attention to and make a ton of money off their websites, millions of dollars. Of course, they pay attention to how many pages they have, which ones are driving conversion, which ones are creating leads, which ones are doing this. So they know which pages are most important to them. And then you get down to pricing, which I kind of covered a little bit. But there's two elements of pricing. There's the SEO element and there's the transfer element. We at InboundREM have created some tools that will allow us to transfer Sierra Interactive sites as part of this work that we're doing, in such a way that we can actually do it in a pretty seamless way. So pricing becomes very important depending on who you're talking to. With us moving forward, we don't have to do all the custom coding for Sierra Interactive customers anymore. So most likely with us, we could offer an extreme discount over other providers because we've already done the hard work of creating a custom strategy, which meant custom development, custom engineering, in order to automatically transfer Sierra Interactive websites over onto WordPress, basically. Pricing is going to vary. It's going to be anywhere from $500 to do a transfer all the way up to $50,000 to $100,000. It just depends on the size of the website. So there's no great answer to pricing. What I can tell you though, is that if any of you out there are watching this, specifically if you're Sierra Interactive clients or know of a Sierra Interactive client, then you should absolutely 100% contact us if you've been unhappy with the changes that they've made. because we have a plan that can probably get you out from under far less than anybody else. Significantly less. In some cases, if somebody was a small website, but really like a great website owner, just didn't have a very big website, not tens of thousands of pages, a few hundred, we might even be able to get away with doing it for free or for a very low setup. It just depends on the actual amount of pages we're transferring and how many widgets and things like that you've added to the site over time. Execution. Now, execution is incredibly important, okay? As a website developer, you always get a tremendous amount of pressure from your clients. My current client is putting a little pressure on us for how much time it's taking. But we've had to code and develop 3 or 4 additional pieces of programming that we didn't know that we'd have to program. And we've run into some technical issues, which I can't go over into on this video. Ultimately, when you're talking about, like, if you have a very large site, you're planning on transferring it, it can take months. It can take months on the execution. It just depends. A small site or a reasonably sized site that wants to transfer or doesn't have a tremendous amount of connection into content, it would be fast. It could be as quick as a week or 2. Okay, it depends deeply on the site that you have. What you want to make sure, though, when you start talking about execution, and this is a mistake I've seen happen across every major provider that's out there. As part of execution, we have to do what's called mapping URLs. We have to take a map of all the pages that have been built on one platform, and we have to send it what's called a redirect from that platform onto another one. Without the redirect, you lose all of your SEO value, all of it. And it'll take you a year or 2 to get it back. Execution is so incredibly important. If you're contemplating this and you make money off your real estate website, especially if you're a Sierra Interactive client, you must contact a highly skilled vendor like us in order to make sure that you don't lose all of the value that you're concerned about maintaining in the first place. It is incredibly important. And it's incredibly important that none of you get sucked into this idea that just because an agency has experience moving around websites, that they will understand real estate. It is a mistake I've seen made countless times by countless people inside the space. You want to make sure that you talk to somebody that understands what it is to move Sierra Interactive sites onto WordPress specifically, and real estate sites at that. All right? Not that Sierra Interactive does anything other than real estate websites, but that's neither here nor there. Anyway, if this has been useful to you, you should be able to find a link, or you want to talk to me about this, you should either find a link to my calendar in the comments section of this YouTube video, or option B, you will find a link to my calendar on the InboundREM.com website under either the About page or the Services page. They both have links to my calendar. Thank you so much for tuning in, and if this was useful to you, give us a thumbs up.